Hi everybody, this is Howard of avtransfers.co.uk saying hi after a bit of a hiatus. The holiday period, well, causes these things to happen. Holidays and just life in general being kind of busy. And the R&D continues here at AV Transfers, doing all sorts of interesting transfers over that period nonetheless. And not only that, there are a few toys that have arrived. New ones and things that I just kind of want to do R&D on. So we're going to take a look at something I bought from China today, from a company called Cameray. They're a company that do specialist miniature cameras. Perhaps I've been buying from them for the last 10 years for various projects, because not only do I have TeleCine and film scanning machines that I've bought from other vendors, I generally tinker around with my own projectors and cameras and things as well to do more interesting things that perhaps aren't available elsewhere. So let's take a look at these cameras and stay tuned. Okay, so some time ago I got this box and I've literally not opened it because I thought, oh, I might want to do a video on this. And this came from China. When did it come? 12th of August. So what are we in? September, October? It's not too bad. A couple of weeks ago. I see that it's very rudely been inspected by somebody, which I didn't appreciate. They did a bit of a bodge job in opening and closing it again. I'm not sure what these boxes are, but I think generally they use a generic box for these cameras. The company, what's unusual, the relationship I've got with this particular company, because I'm actually in direct contact with the company who makes them. Normally, you know, when you buy these things, you buy them through a sort of an AliExpress kind of third party, and you never really have any direct communication with the company. But these guys are really quite professional. They're very much one-on-one. You can email them and say, I need a camera that'll do this, and if they do have it, they will very happily send you the cameras. So they've been really good to me over the years, so I can't really complain. There's the empty box. That's going to go in the rubbish bin. And yeah, I never do anything in small measures, unfortunately. It's a bit of an expensive habit of mine. But there's 3 of these, so I'll just check that they're all the same, and then we'll take a look at just one. So you get things like looks like there's stuff in there. Yeah. Okay. You get things that are security cameras. Now this market, it's mainly, I guess, aimed at security, but these cameras, from my experience, are far better than your average security camera. They've got nice resolutions, and the big deal with these ones is I've been using these for years in standard definition sort of TeleCine machines that I've made for sort of non-standard formats. That's a long explanation. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but nevertheless, these you can buy for security, but these are going to be more for more fun things. Let me put those away. And right, so basically what this is called a lipstick camera, because it looks like lipstick. Let's see, full HD 1080p. So okay, I'm not too interested in the mount. The mount is pretty vanilla. The mount is not really something that interests me. Something fell. Oops, what's this? Some kind of a washer. Oh, it's a washer. It's like a rubbery thing. Alright, so let's take this away. This, again, I'm not really interested in that stuff. This is what I'm interested in. This is a full HD lipstick camera measuring, I think they said 23 millimeters across. Let's just have a look here. Perhaps even less, 20 Yeah, 23. Okay, so this is a 23mm camera. A really nice, interesting camera to install somewhere discreetly to show an angle on something that you perhaps don't normally show. What's kind of cool about this one is, that's interesting. 2 controls. Why? Does it have the remote? Does it have a remote? I must just have a look. Ooh, I don't see a remote. Oh, this might be the first problem. Because there's supposed to be a remote with this so you can control all the different settings. I'm talking absolute. There it is. God, I'm getting blind in my old age. Okay, so here's your remote. You've got your menu, up, down. Okay, so it's pretty much the same format as before in terms of features. Let me tell you what this little puppy can do. Hang on. So the first thing about this that gets me excited is it's a Panasonic chip. Okay, it's a 1/3 of an inch Panasonic chip, 2.1 megapixel. Can do 1080p at either 25 or 30 frames a second. It's got things like WDR, 3D noise, defog, BLC, privacy, white balance, etc. Which is all pretty much true in with the previous cameras they made. Did the same things. So what's nice is it gives you a PAL or an NTSC output, but also gives you an HDSDI, right? So it gives you HD out of that little camera. And there are 2 uses that I've got in mind for these, right? So the one is TeleCine, because as you may notice, this is a very small camera. It also can be, you can actually unscrew the cover, and what I've done before is you can remove the lens. There's like a little thing. Okay, you can tighten it. This is slightly different, and you can actually remove the lens, and you can set your fixed focus here as well. But if you change the lens for a specific different one, you can use it for very up close macro kind of stuff. And you've got to get the right combo on that, which I have done R&D on, and I know about which one to use. You can see it better. Essentially, though, this is going to be for a TeleCine project. And the other thing that I thought of doing with it is, as you know, I'm into pinball machines, and I thought of actually mounting one of these cameras discreetly inside the playfield of the pinball machine. Okay, if you can imagine the pinball table being like here. Okay, this is a very poor example, and you imagine the camera being loaded somewhere inside, you could actually show those images above the pinball machine on a screen, so it could kind of involve other players, and it would just kind of be cool. I haven't done that yet, but that's something I'm thinking about doing. But for now, we're just going to plug this in and see what it looks like, what it can do. But I'm quite excited. Are we excited? Yeah, we're excited. So it's exciting because this is a new kind of potential. The potential to do HD TeleCine. Now I know it's a different sensor, but it is a global shutter, so I should be able to get away with it, but we shall see. Okay, so we've got a power brick. Just going to plug that in. And then we're going to try and find a cable that will work with that. So I guess I should really have my white lab coat on because that's kind of what I'm doing. Oh God, I forgot there's a 1-inch machine on the floor there. Oh God, the one we fixed. Okay, so there we go. Gloink. What we've got here is an SDI monitor, and we've got a SDI recorder. So this will record digitally from the camera, and what's nice about it, it has a nice long lead which we're going to plug into what I think is probably the green cable outlet. Let's see if we can get anything out of this camera. So the light is on the power supply. Oh! Okay, we can see there, we've got HD picture there. We don't have it here because we're going into the wrong input. These early CRT HD monitors have a different input for HD and standard definition. So let me see if I can just fix that quickly. Sorry, this is very rudely just going to hang over there. No, it's not going to hang over there. It's going to hang somewhere else. Yesterday's words. Okay, just stick that there. Right. Oh, how rude. What's nice about this camera, it's tiny. It's not the tiniest, but it's pretty tiny. So, let's just see, where's that cable going. Wherever it's going to the wrong place. Cheese and rice, rice and cheese. Okay, I see it going out somewhere. Alright, is that it there? Ah, input 2. Okay, so if I take that out, let's see, has it gone away? It has gone away. So let's take it into a different input here. SDI, one of them anyway. Let's see, I've got to get it on here. No. 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 Really? That's a bit annoying. I could have sworn it was on one of those. Let's just see. I'll maybe plug it in through the VCR. Maybe that's what I need to do. Okay, it's coming in there at 480/60. Now we don't want that. Oh! You see, we had something there for a second. It's kind of cheeky. It was kind of like behaving for a second, wasn't it there? Oh dear. Alright, hang on. Yeah, that is right. Let me just try a different input. I suspect this input is just up to megats. So we call it that. Out of range. How rude. Am I just doing this too quickly? Out of range. Oh, wait a second. I think I know why. I just realized it's 1080p. These monitors can only go up to 1080i, which is why, if you look over here, you can see there's a picture from the camera, and on top it says 1080p. So let me just see if using my Batman sensors I can try and zoom in on that. See that will that focus? Yes, it does. Okay, now there you can see there is a picture. But I'm going to see if I can set the camera to produce a lower resolution picture. Let's just see if it can be set or changed, or is it locked in that resolution. 1080p, very nice. Menu, right. Oh god, it's small. It's not perfect on the screen for some reason. I suspect it's not showing that problem on this screen, so it must be a problem to do with something causing interference. Let me switch off that VCR. Yeah, it seems to have reduced that problem quite a bit. Okay, so let's just have a look. What did I do? I fed that cable into there. Alright, so let's just try and focus this puppy. That's incredible to have a camera this size. There we go. That looks better. I'm trying to work out what kind of lens this is. What sort of aperture. It's not particularly wide. It's not particularly. It's probably like a very standard lens. Okay. Well, there we go. Let's just focus this on something that we can just kind of leave it. Let's just see. Yeah, that's not very interesting. Okay, hang on. We'll just do this. Right. So right now we've got this lipstick camera. I hope I'm still in the frame here. I'm sorry if you've been looking at my fat stomach for the last half an hour. No, you haven't. Okay, here we go. Let's fix that up. Sorry. There you go. You can actually see on the screen. It looks very noisy. There's a lot of sparkles here and jumping. I'm not sure if it's something to do with this machine here that's introducing noise here. Oh, that's much better now. Okay, let's do a recording. So what's nice about these Blackmagic recorders, you can basically take a HD signal and record it straight in. And there you go. Oh. If I wasn't handsome enough before, you can look at me now in 3 dimensions. I mean 2 dimensions, but 2 angles, 3 angles. I must say the color balance is good, the sharpness is good. It does look like a really nice picture. And this picture is basically 720p 50. So the only reason I'm not doing 1080p is because this television can't, CRT can't show progressive. In fact, I don't even know how it shows progressive at all. I always thought that CRT images were always interlaced. Oh well, this one isn't. It's progressive. I suppose that's the joy of a high-tech machine. But there's a lot of noise. I'm not sure that's a function of a crummy power supply or if there's something else that I'm missing. But like I said, those interruptions are not here on this monitor, so I suspect it's something between here and there. But a very interesting camera. As a point of interest, let's stop that. Let's switch that off because I have more. I have a lot of these cameras. I've been buying a lot of them, and I've been wanting very much to test them all. And it's not always about having the best camera, but which one fits in the best socket. How am I going to get this out without going insane? Ah, there we go. Okay, so that was the Cameray. Sorry, the angle's terrible. That was the Cameray, what they call the lipstick camera. And if you want to buy one, you're more than welcome to. But I must just say, the price, I think it was about $60 for the camera before shipping, is not bad for something like this. And there are applications. So a lot of the work I do with cameras in the sort of film side of things is fun. I enjoy it. But you can get a camera that can be completely fantastic, and you can get one that's totally rubbish. So this one looks like it's okay. I'm not going to say it looks fantastic because of that noise, so that might be something I need to just think about. But for now, I've had a basic look at this, and let's compare it. So let's pull out another camera, and this camera we're going to pull out now is something I got on eBay. Again, bought a job lot of these, and again, this is because a lot of the TeleCine machines I've got are very good machines still, but the cameras are standard definition on some of them, so they're becoming a bit useless. So I need to look at upgrading the cameras and trying to understand how their machines work. This is a professional imaging camera. These normally are used in industry, like if you've got a bag machine and you're making thousands of this. Thing on the lens, sorry. Oh, is that the thing on the lens? That's very interesting. That's quite an interesting style, that. if you're doing, say, making bags and you need to inspect every bag as it's coming through a shoot, for example, they'll use these type of cameras. Or if you're doing traffic cameras and they're trying to see if people are on their phones, they'll use these kind of things. They can take thousands of pictures a second if you want. This one's not as sophisticated, but this is a really nice camera. This is a part of a job lot I bought. This is what it is. It's a little cube, but it feels substantial. It's all anodized, black, heavy. It's got basically screw holes in each side of the camera, so you can mount it nicely. And this is made by a company called Sentech, which is made in Japan. It's an American company. So I bought a whole lot of these, and these are only 720p, so it's probably a good comparison. But this is, the list price on these is almost $1,000. So these are, you know, the chip sensor may be the same, but I suppose it's about what's behind the chip. A little bit of dust there. Never touch these sensors. Blow on them if you must. And this one's got a lens. This one's got a computer. So this is a megapixel lens. Computer lenses generally they tell you how many megapixels they're good for these days. This is a computer made in Indonesia, so there's a lot of good lenses out there, I've discovered. The problem is I don't know enough about lenses, so I end up buying a whole bunch that are not often correct, and they can get quite expensive if they're not the ones you want. So difficult to figure out these things sometimes. Okay, but this one I just tested earlier on another camera. I've got 3 of these lenses. I'm sure I had 4, but I seem to only have 3 now. I must have misplaced one. This has got an iris adjustment and a focus, which is kind of cool. And it runs on 12 volts. So let's plug it into the same system now. You might say, why are you fiddling with cameras, huh? I like cameras. They're interesting. And no, I'm not going to put them in sort of hide them around the place. It's more about for the projects I'm doing. So here we go. So let's plug this one in. So this one, simple. It only has one output, and that's SDI, HD SDI. It has power like the other one, and then it has a little jack. And I had to go to it was quite a mission to find the proper remote control. But if you plug in the remote, you can set all the parameters of the camera, and I do have one of those as well. So, but one is enough for 3 cameras. You don't need to set it more than once. So let's try and plug it in, and hopefully it won't go poof. Interesting, this one's also noisy. Okay, so I think the problem that we're having with the noise is more to do with the cable than to do, not the cable, something else is causing the noise. But straight away I can tell you that there's a lot more detail on this picture. A lot more detail on this picture. Very hard for me to try and hook it up. Let me just move the camera around. I'm going to move this camera around to the other side. I guarantee it, as they say. Let's just see if I can find a suitable plug socket. Why do they always make these cables so short on these darn things? It's enough to drive you dilly. Think. Well, I'm going to have to lose my lights for a second because I want to show you this camera. So unplug there, plug that in, and there we go. It could just, let's just record that. So wow, it's full of sparkles. Not too sure why it's got so many sparkles. But I must tell you, just because something says 720 or 1080 doesn't always mean that that's the quality you're getting. You know, people will go, oh, it's a 1080p camera or 1080i camera, it's the best. But, you know, a good camera at a low resolution it will pick up more information than a rubbish camera at a higher resolution. Yeah, don't like that noise. That could be a function of this thing, although I generally only use it for SDI, not HD SDI. But there we go. So I would say this has probably got the edge still. It might just be the optics. I mean, you've got to compare apples with apples, right? This is an incredible range of focus. It's a very, very, oh, you can see how ugly I am. If I, oh right, there we go. Oh right, there's the, it's got some sort of a macro deal. Okay, so the more, oh my goodness, you can see how ugly I am. The more up close you go, the more distorted it becomes. So this is not really good if you want to do seriously accurate macro stuff, but if you're happy to have a bit of lens bend in it, then it's fine. But if you want to do like a more less zoomy kind of picture, so let's just go a bit far away from it. Very, oh, you see, now that looks more like what you would think. It's incredible. That is an incredible. The lens makes a huge difference as well. I mean, you've got to compare it correctly. Okay, so I would say this camera has got the edge, don't you think? But having said that, it's, if you're going to buy it new, you're going to pay probably $1,000 for this camera, because the lens is what, $100, $200. Generally, that's what they go for a good lens, and the camera is $900. I'm sure you can shop around, but if you're looking for a small camera for an interesting project, this is probably a bit too expensive. Whereas the other one at $50 all in is a bargain. Look at that. That is pretty darn good. That's a picture of the Sniper 16, another toy I picked up recently. It's an earlier version of the movie stuff film scanner, but I've been having great fun with it. It's also an HD scanner. It's not a 2K or 4K scanner. And that's one of the ones I want to upgrade to 4K, although I haven't quite gotten there yet. But it's a very good TeleCine transfer machine as well, for a number of reasons. Mainly because it does sound at the same time as it does picture, which is a huge benefit when you're spending hours doing films. But nevertheless, I digress. Alright, well that's that. So I hope you enjoyed my very strange two-angled view. Interesting, the color balance on this camera is pretty rubbish compared to the color balance. The color balance on that is much better than what I'm seeing here in the viewfinder. Oh, right. Well, Howard from AV Transfers, continuing with the R&D. I'll leave you with that for now. Thanks for watching and stick around. We'll see you again, I'm sure. Bye for now. Okay, I thought I would just do this quickly. This is without the wide-angle lens, which I think had a mark on it or something. I don't know, there seems to be a little mark in here somewhere. But of course, you know, it's a very basic video camera, this one. But I wanted to show you the close-up on the other camera. Does that make sense? So there's flicker because this is showing 30 frames a second or 60. Actually, this is showing 60 at the moment, according to this readout. Okay, sorry, yes, this is right. This is a 60 frames a second camera, progressive. And the video camera is set, I think, to PAL system, or not PAL, but 25 frames a second, so there will be a difference. But this just gives you an idea of what the camera can deliver. And kind of a fun camera to fiddle with. Sorry, the subject matter is so poor. But let's take a look at some machines close up as well. If I go like that, and then I goes like that. This lens has got an amazing ability to just focus in on things. It's quite a noisy camera, this one, but I suspect it's just because the illumination is poor. But there you go. That's giving you a nice idea of what it can do. Quite nice if, you know, your vision isn't as good as it used to be, and you need to see things magnified without the use of a magnifying glass. You can do it this way. And again, you know, you can do all sorts of crazy things. If you're a filmmaker or something like that, I guess you'd also have a bit of fun with this. You could do all sorts of crazy, weird and wonderful sweeps and zooms and whatnot. And if you want to see things clearly, that is, yeah, you see on that, that's okay. So the noise is reduced when it's a decently exposed picture. I haven't fiddled too much with the settings on this one, but again, this wasn't so much about this camera, but more about, this was more about the other camera, which I think has got a lot of potential, and I'll try and install it into something interesting and show you what that's going to look like. Okay. Oh, now I've totally lost the focus. Okay, there we go. Wow, that even makes me look bolder than I normally do. Alright, ciao for now. Oh, we can play it back. Okay, that's cool. Look at my terrible home video footage. Hey guys, Howard from AV Transfers. So, I wanted to start on upgrading some of my cameras to, or some of my machines to a better camera. Even if it's not the final transfer machine, you know, just because I can upgrade it, I want to. So, this is an ELmo projector, which was actually sold as a TRV transfer machine, and I haven't really changed or modified it. The only work I've ever done on this one is I replaced the belt which broke, which I've never been totally happy with, but it's a special kind of belt, so it works. And all the rubbers have perished, so I had to bring in a replacement set of guide rollers and rubbers, which are brand new in this machine. And these are made by a chap in Germany who does a really good job. But the bulbs, the camera, are original. Now I've removed the camera. This is part of it. It's a very early CCD camera, and although it's not too bad in itself, the problem is that the optics have all failed. So if you look at the lens, this is what goes between the CCD and the camera lens, and you can see it's totally fogged. It's got like stuff growing inside. You can't clean that off. The original lens is actually not bad, so I'd consider maybe reusing this if it's the right magnification, which I don't think it is, and it also seems to have a bit of furriness in it. So I'm going to try and see if I can set one of the new cameras up instead. So let's see how we go. Okay, so let's just show you where I am now with this project. I've mounted the new camera. It's just a lipstick camera. This is just a PAL camera. It's not a HD camera. I don't think a HD camera will work well with this shutter, but it will still produce a far better picture than the old camera. The old camera I've just left connected in circuit because a lot of this is all soldered in. I've put a piece of foam inside across the CCD, and I've taped it on the side here, so it's really not in the way for anybody's purposes. You can still do, it can work, and if you ever want to return it to the original setup, the hardware is still all there. There's no distraction. This cable is easy enough to just feed through the back, and then that will go straight into its own power supply and video output. So I'm not too concerned about that. It's a bit tricky to line up. I have found the right lens and focal distance, but because I'm not 100% sure yet, I've mounted it, I've super glued some stiff foam to the original section. Obviously you could use an X and Y screw here, but what I've done is I've just used the foam. Once I've locked in and I'm happy with everything, then I might modify this and make this into an XY screw, and then I can just lock it physically in. But this might be sufficient. But right now that's just super glued on the front. Very low. Basically the whole thing, because it's a sort of a learning curve, everything is done in a very gentle way, so that if it doesn't work out, I can return it back to what it was quite easily. And that's where we are right now. But now I must just dig out a film and see if I can produce any pictures, which I think I will, because based on that I'm getting a bit of a picture. This is still the original bulb. I'm going to change it for an LED, but I want to make sure I'm happy with the camera and the image it's producing. It can't really be much worse than this. So what I normally use this for, this is a very good magnetic sound player. So often I just use this to pull the magnetic sound off a film and sync it up to a scanned version which comes with the 2K scanner. But you know, some jobs only require a DVD, so if this can produce a better picture, that would be really, really nice. Yeah, so let's just see how we go. Okay, so here we are. This is the original bulb with the new camera, and there's the picture. Yes, there is still some flicker, but it was flickering before, and that's more a function of the projector that's not running quite at the right speed, because the projector was originally a 60 Hertz machine and somebody tried to modify it to 50 Hertz and the motor speed is never quite right. But that's a lot better if I'm going to use it to sync up my sound. So although it's not perfect, I think it's a step in the right direction. And that's a decent 400-500 line resolution. So there you have it, my quick and dirty modification to an old ELmo TRV unit with a new lens and a very basic bracket. Fun and games. And there you have it. Let's go frame by frame. Oh yes, I'd like to meet you. Yes, no, goodbye. Don't go. Focus. Don't go. What's wrong with this camera? This camera's retarded. Anyway, there you go.